Okay, so I'm going to explain how to initiate a share transfer from cdsl to cdsl using discount broking apps. For example, I have logged in using my Paytm Money Demat. Similarly, you can either use Grow or Zerodha or Angel One. So these discount brokers, um, they don't have offices at all the locations. So since they work remotely, they are very few branches across the country where you can submit the delivery instruction slip by way of which you can transfer the shares. So you can register for myeasiest. Now there are two types of login when it comes to cdsl. One is myeasy and second one is myeasiest. So as you can see, I have been registered over here for easiest. So easiest is like the final version and it covers all the facilities which myeasy already provides. So it is always better to register for myeasiest. Now as you want to initiate the transaction, you need to go to this transaction tab and then click on setup. Okay, so before starting this setup thing, as per the new regulation of SEBI, we need to add beneficiary. So there is a tab called edit trusted account where you can add only up to 4 beneficiaries. So these 4 beneficiaries I have added before, like a day before, because first of all we need to submit OTP and then it will go to the DP, which is Paytm in my case, for authentication. So over here yesterday it was showing the status as pending for authentication, after authentication it is now showing authenticated by DP. So if I want to add trusted account, I need to first delete one of these 4, and for deletion also it will take 1 day, because deletion request is also sent to DP. So nothing is in our control completely. Even if we want to add, it has to be authenticated by DP. If we want to delete, it has to be authenticated by DP. So I can personally transfer shares only to these 4 demat accounts which I have added. And I remind you again, this is only for CDSL to CDSL transfer. It is not for CDSL to NSDL transfer. So for that you only need to submit physical form at the DP's office, that is your broker's office. Now as we move on to transaction and as we move on to setup, they'll ask you that please kindly authenticate the transfer by generating OTP and as per SEBI guidelines. So we need to click on OK, and we are on this particular page. And over here, as you might see, there is a bulk setup tab. We click on the bulk setup, and on this particular area we are selling, because we are transferring, this is our demat account number, and we need to select execution date. So today is 23rd of August, we select 23rd of August, and we select counter BOID. So the beneficiary is BOID. So as you might see, there are these 4 beneficiaries which I had already added before, and as you can see, these are the 4 beneficiaries which have been added. So for example, I select this beneficiary. So this has been done. Now remember one thing, we don't need to put any of these details. ये यहाँ के 3 and यहाँ के 3, we don't need to put any of the details, and directly over here we need to select NA, which is not applicable, UCC details and all. So all of these things are done. So this is transfer date and the beneficiary demat account details and NA over here. So these are the 3 details which are required to be filled, and over here there is a tab. Okay, so now we are on ISIN details, which is nothing but the security details, even if you want to transfer unlisted shares or unlisted debentures. So this is the tab which you need to go on to, and on plus you click, you will be able to see that you need to enter the ISIN of the stock which you want to transfer. So if you don't know the ISIN, you can also click on search. Now search ISIN is not possible, so what we can do is we can click on account ISINs. Account ISIN means all those shares and securities which are held in your demat account. So for example, these are the shares which are held in my demat account, along with the quantity is mentioned over here. So if I say for example Kannur International Airport, and so let's say, okay, sorry, I think 0 is pressed in my case. Okay, so I enter, let's say, 1 quantity of Kannur International Airport over here. Now mind you, if it is an off market sale, we select the reason as off market sale. But the biggest drawback is that Grow, Paytm, Angel and all the other discount brokers, they don't accept off market sales, because for them they need to verify the transaction. So they don't have any means by which they can verify the transaction and the consideration amount, whether it has been transferred or not. So the only way out to transfer these shares to other demat account is to select gift and to put consideration as 0, because they cannot verify whether you transferred by check or by electronic means or by cash. So the best way is to do it by gift, otherwise the transaction won't be approved by the DPs, because they don't have the reasons to verify. So I have tried numerous times by putting consideration and putting all the details. For example, if I select electronic and bank number, everything, reference number, date of transfer, so I put everything, but it has never worked for me. So it is always advisable to transfer using the reason as gift, but even in your accounting records you can show as off market sale. So this is only for the purpose of CDSL or for Grow. It is not going to affect your own personal income tax books or anything else. So please, if you want your transfer to be executed on the same day and without any issue, then you can go ahead with this. Click on OK, and as you can see, the ISIN is over here, quantity is over here, consideration is 0, reason for trade again, oh sorry, so we need to edit, because no, reason is correct, reason for trade 1 is gift code. Now we click on verify. Do you want to save this transaction? We say OK. Now the transaction has been verified. Now we click on submit. Just a second. There is some issue with this particular BOID, so let me try to change the BOID. So I don't know why the process is not going through, but in this particular BOID there might be some issue. So after submitting, you will get an OTP. After submitting the OTP, you need to verify that transaction by submitting OTP for another time, and last step in this process is to enter the PIN. Once the PIN has been entered, what you can do is you can go on the transaction tab, and you can click on the inquiry tab, and on this inquiry tab you will see the transactions, and over here you can select the date and you can search. So you will see that particular transaction, and the status will be showing as it is pending for authentication by DP. So try to transfer between 9 to 12 in the morning itself, so that the transfer gets authorized by before 3 o'clock, because after 3 if you initiate transfer, the transaction will get expired, because DP will not approve the transaction after the market hours. Also, it is unsafe to apply for the transaction at 2 o'clock or so, because there is only less time left for the DP to authorize the transaction. So after entering the PIN, so also the PIN, also if there is a default PIN which you are going to enter, then over here in miscellaneous tab you need to reset the PIN. So following points have to be taken care of before initiating transfer in case of CDSL to CDSL.